Welcome to the Cross the Line podcast. My name is Carlos Smith, and today's episode is sponsored by Charlene's Home Cooking on 1136 East Blackstock Road in Moore, South Carolina. Charlene's Home Cooking is a family restaurant that cooks like grandma with fresh veggies, meats cooked to order. You can also get a meat with 2 sides, a meat with 3 sides, or a veggie plate along with sweet tea, Kool-Aid, and lemonade. Cakes, pies, and cobbler are also available for dessert. She wants you to come feel home. Well, actually, I said home like it's actually a home, but she does want you to feel at home anytime you visit. So make sure you stop by on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday from 11 to 6, and Friday and Sunday from 11 to 7. Everything is fresh from the heart, and she would love to see you sometime. So make sure you guys, if you're in the area, make sure you stop by Charlene's Home Cooking up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And today, we have a very special guest today. We've had the pleasure of just talking to her before we even started this interview, and she's a joy, she's a treasure. And I'm none other than Miss Sulondia Hammond, also known as sueham. How are you?
I am great, man. Good to be here.
Oh, thank you for having us. Like you said earlier, we're down in King Street, South Carolina.
Yeah.
This is down in the country, but it was a nice little ride, and we enjoyed it. But thank you for having us down here. So I didn't want to shortchange you, and also to like you said, author, producer, speaker, actress, director. Am I missing anything else?
Mom, Marine, former Marine.
Yeah,
just a lover of people, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've done so many things. We're definitely gonna get into your story. And like we said earlier before we started, how I actually found you was on LinkedIn, and this is like the power of the internet.
Yes.
And I actually saw you share a link. I thought it was the Nipsey part, but it was. I went back and looked. It was like Marlon. It was Marlon, how he was talking about ownership and how how he had to write his own script. With Scary Movie. They were in the first 2, and then they actually wrote them out of it.
Exactly.
That's actually to me when it went downhill.
It did.
But it was pretty much how he was saying, how he had to kind of, create his own, write his own scripts for his movies and everything. Mm-hmm. And once I seen that, I actually went on your profile and looked at everything that you were doing, and I was like, this is it. I have to reach out to her because what she's doing is special and something else is different and something people need to hear also. But talk a little, what made you want to share that little clip about Marlon anyway?
Well, because I'm a big proponent of ownership, and I mean, just in us talking just a few minutes ago, my biggest thing has always been, and I guess I learned it not from theory, but actually from experience. My biggest thing is I wanted to be on stage as an act, and but there was, as you said, you traveled here to the boonies. Mm-hmm. There were no one doing shows here. I didn't live in New York or California at the time. Atlanta wasn't popping. And I knew that in order for me to do something right, I was probably going to have to create it because no one was going to swoop down into Winsburg County and pick me up because we didn't have social media or the internet. So I said, in order for me to do this, I need to start writing and creating my own shows. And for years, I've been a big proponent of people creating their own content. If there's something that you want and it doesn't exist, create it. Don't wait on someone to put you on their thing. And then the second part to creating is owning it. Absolutely. And I love how Oprah shows us that ownership is powerful, how Tyler Perry shows us that ownership is powerful. Like you could sell and probably be even more wealthier. But to me, ownership is priceless. So that was the sole purpose. There was no opportunity. I had to create it, and I figured if I had to create it, I'm going to brand it with who I am, which is why you see sueham on every freaking thing that I create.
And I think it's so important, like you said, ownership, because like I said earlier when we were talking, was like, when we grow up, we saw music artists, and it still happens today where music artists, they'll like sign their life away.
Yes.
They might give them some money up front, and then that's it, but they don't know, like, okay, we're going to give them all of this, but now they own every piece of work that we create.
Everything. All your masters.
All your masters.
And can I interject real quick? You brought up
ahead.
Music artists. One of the things that I love about James Brown, I didn't know it until I started doing research. When they didn't want to play James records, James said, okay, I'm going to create my own radio stations. I'm going to spin my own music. He created his own label. He had his own private jet. So it was just amazing to me how someone like James Brown, prior to an Oprah, prior to a Tyler Perry, had that mindset of like, listen, I'm about to get out here. This is my music. I'm the one on the stage every night. I need to own it, and in order for me to own it, get my music played, I need to create those platforms.
Absolutely.
And so, trust me, it wasn't easy for James. We got a lot easier now, so we have no
Absolutely.
excuse.
And like I said, we also, well, as far as ownership goes, like those people who do those things, like visionaries, like those people need to be appreciated because they're laying the groundwork and showing us what we actually need to do. And one of my favorite artists, and I actually gravitated toward him the most was Nipsey Hussle. I'm not sure if you listened to him a lot.
I really didn't know Nipsey until after his death.
Oh,
he
man,
became infamous at that
was,
time.
Man, he was a special dude, but like he's somebody who set the tone from like years ago. Like he was always like on ownership. Like everything that he put out, he wanted to own it. That's why he pretty much stayed independent because he already knew how. Like when you sign these deals, you know, these labels. They pretty much they got you where they want you. So he was pretty much one of those guys where you know he was just pretty much on his ownership. Everything he created, he wanted to own it. He might do like a distribution deal or something.
Right.
But as far as him making the content and creating it, everything he created, he wanted. Yeah, he wanted to own it. And he was one of those guys. When I listened to his music, I appreciated it. I'm like, man, this guy was doing this years ago. We still have artists now. It was like he was so far ahead of his time. And he was one of the people that also inspired me kind of, you know, to go ahead and start my own business as well with More Than a Job.
And I love that title, by the way.
Thank you. You know, because like I was telling you earlier, it was just pretty much, you know, just telling people like, you're more than just a 9 to 5 and just going into work and picking up a paycheck. Because at the end of the day, when at the job, if the company closes down or any given day, you can finish your job, they can let you go. And
that's it.
Pretty much that's it.
And they don't think twice about it.
No, it's a done deal. and they'll already know ahead of time that we're going to let this person go, but we're still going to get everything out of them that we can. Yeah. But
you know, piggyback into Nipsey and about ownership, I think Nipsey is worth more dead than he is alive. I think he's become more legendary. And that's another reason I think for ownership. Same thing with Walt Disney, you know. It's like, for me, my ownership is not just for me. It's for my lineage. It's for the people who aspire to be like me. And so if I can show them, you know, that if I can just show them that and just get that in their mindset, own something, you know what I'm saying? Own your gift, because your gift was given to you. Don't sell it for the fast dollar bill. Because, I mean, as long as you have the gift, you can create money.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get to the story.
Okay.
But it's something else that about Nipsey. I know it's not this story, but I always just have to appreciate everything he's done in the ground with his label. But if you go back and look at a lot of his content, and people ask him what he want to do with his money and stuff, he'll say invest in real estate and ownership. He said, I'm all about ownership. And what kind of gave me chills that I thought about the other day, and I was telling Calvin, like, he officially dropped his first debut album last year, even though he's been making music.
Right.
But the title of his album is Victory Lap.
Wow. So
it's kind of like, in a sense, it was kind of like his send-off already. So that's what kind of gave me chills when I sat back and thought about it.
That's deep.
Yeah, it was his first debut album, and unfortunately it's his last album, but it's called Victory Lap. So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like his send-off. Yeah. And it was just like, man, somebody like that, you really have to appreciate them, and because when they're gone, then
all you have is their artistry.
Absolutely.
That's it.
But let's get your story a little bit. So how long have you actually been writing plays?
Man, I actually started writing plays, I think like in 2001. And I started because I was going through a divorce. And so for me, that was a way for me to just get some things out on paper. Prior to writing plays, I had done a lot of short stories, which I thought sucked. I never really thought any of my writing was any good. So just going through that divorce, the hardship, that's what prompted me to just want to do a stage play.
So everything in your plays, do they come from personal experience, or these are just stories that you kind of like made up?
Personally, I think that every writer they draw a personal experience in their writing. That's my feeling. I do. A lot of the stuff is made up, but it doesn't matter what I do. It's always going to have some personal experience. Now, I might, you know, stretch it a little bit, you know, or bend it, but it still has a little bit of me in it and the experiences that I've been through.
How many plays would you say you've written so far?
I have about 10, 11 plays right now and 3 screenplays.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
You know, it's to be honest with you, I feel like I'm behind the power curve. I need to get going. I need to write more and do more. But one of the biggest things with me is we actually don't just write, we're producing our work. So a lot of people just write a bunch of plays and do nothing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nah, I need the world to see what we're doing, even if it doesn't go mainstream right now. Again, it'll be there for my legacy, my lineage. They'll have the rights to go ahead and put it out there.
So going through that process, how long did it actually take you to like write one and then actually kind of produce it?
Writing one, it just depends, man. When it's flowing, when God is downloading it, there's been times when I've written a play in like 36 hours.
Wow.
Then there's been times where it takes me months. I'll get like 5 pages here. A month will go by. 10 pages here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some more months will go by. So it really just depends. I've done it in anywhere between 36 hours to like 4 months to write a stage play.
And you do all of this by yourself, or do you have help with people giving you different ideas of how you want to?
I really don't take people's ideas. I write everything myself. And I do have a producing partner, Maurice Perkins, and he's got this great eye with assembling everything, and he's our director. And what I do is I'll write the play, and I'll give it to him, and I'm like, yo, look it over, tell me what it's missing and whatnot, because I do believe as a writer, you do need somebody or a group of people to look over it and fill in the blanks for you. And he's really good with saying, and it's so funny, it's frustrating, but it's funny. He'll look at it and he's like, it's missing something. And I'm like, dude, but what is that something? He's like, I don't know, you'll figure it out. You're a phenomenal writer. Or, you know, and he does that most times.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times he'll be like, we need more of an attention gainer or closing this gap. But that's how he serves. But for the most part, the story is just coming from me and through me, and I just let it go.
And what about the cast? With the casting call, is it pretty much you just something you announce, or is it people you may know that kind of do some acting, or?
Yeah, it's both. It's so funny. When we first started out, it was just family that I had acting in it, because it's kind of hard, again, we're in a rural area, to get people. So it was a lot of family. And then the great thing about it is when you're doing something excellent, Oprah says excellence does not go unnoticed for long. People start to notice and want to be a part of it. And so I started having people come up, I want to be in your show. And I'm like, don't just work like that. you gotta audition, right? So we started doing auditions. And then from the auditions, I would see people and I'm like, okay, we would use them. And in my mind, my mental Rolodex, I'm like, okay, I'm writing a new show. This person would still be good for this new show. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the other way I do it is if I'm in a restaurant or if I'm somewhere and I see somebody and I like their face or I like their voice or I like their mannerisms, I'm like, have you ever acted? And most times it's, no, I haven't. And I'm like, are you interested? Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, good. Because I can cultivate talent. Right. You know, so this is like, do you want to do it? If you do, then we can do it.
Do you prefer to be behind the scenes, or do you kind of like to be in front of the camera? Which one would you?
It's so crazy. I like both. When I initially started, it was all about in front of the camera. Now I love writing and cultivating the talent before we do the production. But here's one of the things I do, because I'm all about branding. And I love acting because that's my first love. That's what I've always wanted to do. Is with all my shows, I write a little piece for me. Mm-hmm. And I always open all my shows myself. We don't do a lot of singing and all that. We don't, because we actually do a production where we want you to focus on the stage play. But I do come out before the shows and I welcome everybody and I give them the rules and everything. And what that does is that lets people know the face behind the brand. It also makes them feel warm and fuzzy, and also get an opportunity to thank everybody for coming out to be with us.
I saw online you guys actually did the Rise Up play that was recently in North Carolina.
Yeah, Wilmington, North Carolina.
How do you go about finding your locations for like your plays?
Well, with Wilmington, North Carolina, we actually had a team that brought us out, Better as Possible, CDC, and the Black Arts Alliance. They had been down to our shows here in King Street. Believe it or not, we actually do shows here in King Street at a 400-seat auditorium. And they enjoyed the show. And so they were like, we got to get you back to Wilmington. And I was like, oh, okay. So they picked out the auditorium. And the funny thing about that auditorium is when I was a loan officer, not working in my gift, I remember driving by that auditorium in Wilmington, North Carolina, and saying, one day I'm going to do shows in there. 18 years later, it manifested. Right. So they actually pick up the theater. What I like to do is, look at the stats to make sure it's going to accommodate us. The stage is long enough, big enough. The sound system is adequate. The lighting is adequate, because a lot of people think that they can just throw you into an auditorium and you should be good to go. And I'm like, we don't work like that. Other things I do is I look online and I'm researching venues. Like we were in Sumter, South Carolina at the Patriot Hall. Beautiful facility. So we did that. And we are looking to go to Atlanta, and so I reach out to friends in those areas, and I'm like, can you recommend some theaters and whatnot? So that's how we find
How
venues.
often do you, sorry to cut you off, do you guys actually do your plays? Is it like once every few months, or how often?
Well, this year we're about to do our 4th play, and we're only in, we've done 3 already, and we're only in July. And I don't actually have an auditorium myself. So actually, the funny thing is, I work from home. Yeah, I work from home, and when I do casting calls, I'm either renting facilities or I'm partnering with other businesses, and we're holding our casting calls there, or either I'm doing it online, virtually, and we go from there. So this year we will have at least 4 or 5 plays completed before December 31st, 2019, and that is a big stretch considering I don't have my own facility. Talent is not abundant like it is in Atlanta. Musicians, they come and they go, or else they have so many gigs. So it's a lot on Maurice and myself, but we love it, and it is what we do.
What was it that made you feel like you wanted to go the entrepreneur route?
Honestly, I've always felt that way. The funny thing about it, growing up, in order to get money here, we had to work in the cucumber field, we had to pick beans, or we had to work in the tobacco field. And and it's so funny, I've always been one of those persons who loves entertainment, so very artistic and creative, but I've always loved math and money. And typically they don't usually don't go together. And so for me, I'm sorry, your question again, I got in the cucumber field, I just had a vision.
Oh, I was saying, what made you want to go that's fine, the
entrepreneur route.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned early on in the cucumber field, I love making my own money. Even though I was working in somebody's field, the amount of money I made was dependent upon the work that I produced. So we were getting paid like 50 cents a bucket for cucumbers. So if I could fill up more buckets, I could make more money. I also love being able to control my own destiny, because I'm naturally a leader, and I feel like sometimes when you're working with other people, there's only so far you can go. They tell you when you can get promoted. They tell you when you should get a raise. They tell you when you can get off. You gotta ask, can I be with my children, and can I go to their programs? And I didn't like that, and I just felt like I was being controlled. And it's not that I can't handle following people, because I was a Marine for almost 9 years, so I'm good with that. But I also know that my gifting is not tied to a job. It's tied to being creative and owning my own thing and being an entrepreneur and inspiring other people to do the same thing.
And that's what I was saying all the time too. Is now is kind of waking up. It's like I don't like it. It rubs me the wrong way sometimes when I want to be clear that it's nothing wrong with having a job.
Nothing wrong with it.
You need a job to provide and take care of your family, but it's something about it just kind of rub me the wrong way at times when you work so hard and then you have to ask, hey, can I be off this time? It's like, man, and then sometimes he gets denied. You're like, man, I do this, and this for this place, but I'm asking for this one time that I need to be off, and I can't get it.
And let me tell you what else I hated, is that I was doing a job of 3 and 4 people, but I was getting this one pay, and you got this lazy bum over here, and they're not doing nothing, and they still making more money than me. No.
And then I look at it, like I was saying, sometimes at a job they may only give you like 2 weeks worth of vacation.
That's it.
It's 52 weeks in a year.
That's right.
So you mean to tell me I'm only work 2 weeks of vacation and the rest of the time I have to work? I'm like, is that even a fair trade that I have to come in here and do all these hours day after day after day, but I'm only getting just this little bit of time to do what I want, to spend with my family and do the things I want to do, and then for the rest of the year, I got to be back in here. So I'm just like, it's just not like a fair trade.
It's not. And like I said, I don't knock jobs.
Me either. I don't.
I've worked quite a few, but it's not for me.
And to be clear, I still have a job right now, but I'm still in the process, kind of trying to break away from that
Gotcha.
job because I said I was working 2 jobs and I fell into a cycle of just day and night, just over and over and over.
Yeah.
And the only thing I was doing was just paying bills, and that was pretty much it. So,
That's depressing, man.
yeah, so it's just like you constantly just working to pay bills, and it's like in a sense you're kind of like a slave to a dollar. Where
That's
you
it.
just kind of like, man, well, I know I got to go in, like I have to because I got this and this and this to pay off. But then when you look back, it's like you miss some of the most precious times.
That's true.
Like I actually missed when my baby girl started preschool this
Wow.
past school year. I wasn't even there to take it because I had to go to work.
Wow.
So it's like some of those times that you don't get those times
You
back.
don't get them back.
So it's just like you have to kind of value your time because your time is worth more than money at the end of the day. But I will say if you're doing what you love doing and you work somewhere, then it's nothing wrong
There's
with
nothing
it.
wrong
But
with
if
it.
you're just working to pick up a paycheck, that's why I named my company More Than a Job. Because if you're working just to pick up a paycheck, then
That's a sad existence.
yeah, and you're just selling yourself short, and you're gonna
Yeah.
be miserable, and you're gonna hate what you're doing.
Yep.
And then that's why I really want to cut back from going to fast food restaurants because you're like, I can only imagine my job that I don't really care for. So imagine people who work at restaurants. You think they're really gonna take care of their food when they're
Oh my
serving?
God.
So that's why I'm kind of like,
That's a good point.
yeah, because I'm like, if I'm making more than them and I don't like what I'm doing still, can you imagine people who may not be
Yeah.
making the most money
That's true.
with how they're treating the food and handling stuff? So
Yeah, that's true. And I agree with that because a lot of people don't have the same work ethics, morals, and principles that we grew up with. Because even though I never liked my jobs, I still performed them, at a
Absolutely.
top-notch level because at the same time it was still a blessing to have it because it was paying the bills, And number two, if I didn't want to be here and perform at the right level, then I need to exit stage
Absolutely.
left.
So what would you say was like your absolute breaking point where you may have felt like you were like rock bottom and said, okay, now I know that I have to write plays?
Well, definitely my divorce. That was one of them. And then the second one was I had a bunch of real estate properties, so I know that real estate is the way to go. However, I didn't have a lot of knowledge. So I was spending money like crazy, like a lot of these young people you see just buying toys. And I actually ended up having to file bankruptcy. And I was just like, you know what, I just can't do this. I can't have all this talent inside of me and know that I'm supposed to be doing something else. I was fortunate at the age of 5 to always know what I was supposed to do. And so I'm just like, there's no, I need to find my purpose. I don't know what it is. I've known. So I was just like, I can't let fear control my life anymore. I'm like, I'm at the freaking bottom. Then I'm pulling my vehicles out of my yard. Then I'm foreclosing all my real estate properties. And I'm foreclosed on my house. What else is there for me to do? Except try to live my dreams. And so that's what it was for me. I found myself on the floor one night crying, snot coming all down my nose, pissed off at the Creator. And I'm like, why would you give me these gifts if I can't use them? And I just remember, I'll never forget, the thought came to my mind was, I gave you the gifts. It's up to you to use them. And so from that point on, I was like, okay. I'm going to do like Grant Cardone. I'm going to 10X this thing. I'm about to go hard for mine. People say go broke. I said, go broke for mine. I said, no, I'm going rich for mine. I'm about to go get this thing. And
How did that affect you, like mentally, like everything that you went through? How did it affect your mindset?
I mean, I was broken. Let's be real about it. I was broken, but I think that sometimes you got to be broken in order to get put back together again to do things that you were born and gifted to do. And so I was broken, and mentally, I mean, it was hard. There were times I didn't have $5 in my pocket. But I would get up on Facebook, keep doing my videos and saying, follow your dreams, stay motivated. And then I started listening to like Les Brown, and I'm like, the number one, arguably the number one motivational speaker in the world, deemed that by a lot of people. Les Brown was saying how he had an office. He was standing up speaking to 80,000 people, but he was sleeping on the floor of his office. And so I was like, well, God, if he got to go through that process, what makes me any different? But I was broken, and I had to constantly fill my ears, my mind with motivational things, videos, books, people, and I just had to keep reminding myself, okay, you had all the money. You weren't happy. Now the money's gone. Now all the tangible, materialistic things are gone. Now what you're left with is what you were born with. So I just had to keep constantly giving myself pep talks and saying, you're built for this. That's why I wear it on my shirt, man. You're built for this. It's not egotistical. It's to remind me that I'm built to do what I was created to do. And I'm hoping it inspires people to do that.
So I had a motivational speaker, Mr. William Hollis, on down in Atlanta, and he was kind of going through some of the same situations where it was a point where he was actually thinking about taking his own life.
Yeah.
And he went in to speak to some kids, and he said he got back out. He left the school and they called him and said, how much do you charge to speak? And he said ever since then, he's just been hitting the ground running, just traveling all over the world speaking. But I asked him, like, what how did you keep your spirit up? Like, what kept you motivated? He was just like, man, I just come from nothing.
Yeah.
So he said anything else is just beautiful, just to still be alive and to just be able to speak. He was like, man, I come from nothing. So just to still be here, like, it's just a blessing. So he said now he doesn't take any of that stuff for granted because he's just at any given moment it can just be taken away.
And not to sound cliche-ish, but really it's just a shift in thinking. People are like, it can't happen that quickly. Yes, it can. Okay. The same way you decide, I'm going to go to work today, I'm not going to go to work today. It's a shift in thinking, and then it's followed by action. And so for me, I was just like, okay, this level of thinking, being depressed and sad and feeling pitiful is not working for me. So let me just shift and follow these people who are motivated, follow these people who started from the bottom, and but they're grinding and they're in a position where they want to be. And so for me, it was just like, okay, change my thinking, and then followed by action. And like Zig Ziglar said, motivation is just like bathing. It's something you got to do every freaking day, retraining your brain. You got to do it every freaking day.
And I look at stuff like that. And ever since I'm kind of like going the entrepreneur route, I love to like look at what other entrepreneurs are doing. And it's pretty much like I just changed my mindset. I look at what they're doing. I try to read some of the books that they're reading, keep myself motivated, and I look at stuff that you're doing that other people who are just trying to like just pound the pavement and show people another way. So that's kind of like what I do to kind of like stay focused. Yeah. But what would you say? What else keeps you motivated on a daily basis?
Doing what I'm telling you, it just seems so simple, but for real, I'm literally doing what I love. I get to wake up in the morning. I can do videos to motivate and inspire people. I get to go and speak to kids. I get to write shows that I actually co-produce and co-direct and see them mounted. See 400, 500, 600 people in the audience. That's amazing to me. I get to see my videos go viral. I get to have people ask to interview me like you're doing. I get to go into schools and speak to more kids. And that's motivating to me because now I feel like, okay, I'm doing what I was created to do. Every day I wake up now, I'm freaking thankful. And there used to be a time when I woke up and I'm like, oh my God, I woke up again. Why am I still here? And I'm like, I'm no longer there. Now every day is not peachy and sunny, but I'm thankful because I remember where I was. I was in despair. And so like every day I have an opportunity to be one step closer to a new goal that I create for myself. And that is just motivating to me. And then having people reach out to me every day and say, yo, you inspired me to start my business, or you inspired me to step out of fear and into faith and create something, that gets me going. And even in the days when I'm like, man, I'm not as far as where I want to be, it's amazing to me how somebody will hit me up on social media and be like, yo, keep doing what you're doing. I need this. And I'm like, okay.
And I get some of those messages too, and I appreciate it because I have some people tell me that I don't even know that watching some of my content. Like,
exactly.
He's like, man, I like what you're doing. Just keep on working, man. Keep working hard. I'm like, man, I didn't even know you paid attention to it. So it's like people are actually watching this stuff, even though they might not say anything or come out publicly and say anything. Like, people really appreciate this kind of stuff. Even with Calvin, we were talking one day. He was like, you know what, man? Ever since you started your podcast, now I'm seeing other people doing podcasts and different stuff.
You inspire them, man.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
And I don't want to take credit because I know I'm not the first person to even make a podcast. But I just wanted to do something where, I've heard so many times that it was just like me showing people like, look, no matter how many times you hear no, all it takes is one yes. That's it. But at the same time, you still create your own opportunity.
That's it.
So when they say no, then you have something to where you showing people like, look, if I can do it, you can do it. Create your own, and you can own it at the same time. Exactly. So you don't have to ask anybody else for handouts. But I really appreciate those kind of comments when people say stuff like, yo, man, you really inspire me. I appreciate what you're doing. I like what you're doing. Keep grinding and stuff like that.
They don't even realize it. And I tell them, I'm like, yo, this right here is priceless to me. Because it's typically is at a moment where I'm just like, man, I need to be doing something else, or I need to be further. And then those comments come in, and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
And sometimes I have like moments where I'm like, man, what am I doing? But then that makes me feel better. Like, yo, I gotta keep going.
Right, because you're like, man, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Because yo, I see myself over there, but I'm right here. But what people don't understand is in order to get over there, you got to start from here to get there.
And I just feel like I owe it to myself and to my family. Because I wanted to kind of break the cycle of, you go to school, get a good education, and then you go work, go get a job. So it's like, I wanted to be able to break that cycle of saying, like, this is what we have to do. Like, I want to be able to show my kids, at the end of the day, it's okay to own your own business and then have something to pass down to them and show them, like, if you want to go to college, it's fine. If you don't, it's fine. But you can still create your own opportunity, have your own business at the end of the day, and not be in debt for the rest of your life.
It's so funny that you say that because my kids, they were younger. I have 3 kids, 25-year-old, 22-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And the older 2, they were younger when I was going through all that financial turmoil. But they knew that mom was in pursuit of her dreams. And so, and that's another reason why I couldn't give up, because if I gave up, I would have showed them that everything that I sacrificed was all in vain. And so now when I have my older kids saying to me, Mom, I'm so proud of you, you made the Steve Harvey show, I'm so proud of you, you had a dream to speak on the same stage as Les Brown, and you did it. It shows them that even though it may look like a pipe dream, even though you may not make the money or achieve the goals that you want in the beginning, if you keep grinding, if you keep believing and visualizing and putting in the work, it's going to pay off.
Absolutely. So. And who would you say were your mentors, like, through your whole entire process?
Definitely my parents.
Okay, your parents.
My parents.
I meant to ask you something else before that.
Okay,
you say your children growing up, like, how do you feel like that affected them? Seeing everything that you went through.
I think it lets them know that there's no sense of entitlement here. You know what I'm saying? Anything that we want, we got to go for it. Whether you work, I love what Reverend Ike says. Reverend Ike says, work your mind, then you're behind. So I think it shows my kids that mentally you have to shift and you have to work your mind to get what you want. And then you got to get in position and work your body, man, because the mind is going to tell the body what to do. You control that. I think it's shown them that there's no entitlement here. Be thankful and understand that there are going to be highs and lows. I'm hoping that what I'm teaching my kids is that purpose and passion is worth more than money. Purpose and passion is worth you pushing through to live your dreams.
And that's something else. I want to tie that into social media. It's like, because if you look at social media, it looks like everybody's winning. Everybody has all this money. But,
sucks.
But behind closed doors, if you look at it, man, some of these people are just broken.
Struggling.
Yeah, they're struggling. They're broken.
And not just struggling financially. We're talking about emotionally. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and that's one of the things, I'm very transparent. I have no problem with telling people I filed bankruptcy. I have no problem with telling people I had repos and foreclosures. I have no problem with telling people I was depressed. I had suicidal thoughts. And I have no problem with telling people, even to this day, I just submitted to a writing contest. They told me no. I don't just want to show you when they say yes. I want to show you when they say no, because I still get told no a lot, But then when the yeses come, they outweigh all the no's. So, and I hate that aspect about people on social media not being transparent or trying to pretend like they're winning all the time. Nobody, absolutely nobody wins all the time.
Absolutely, because like you said, they always, somebody's always on vacation and they might have won something or not had these nice pictures and everything, but it's nothing like that. And like you said, like you kept hearing no, like I can't even tell you how many emails I have when from so many no's that I've had. It
gets to the point you don't even phase you.
And a lot of it, I just feel like, you know what? These people don't even know me anyway. They don't know me from a can of paint. So of course they gonna say no. They haven't even sat down and talked to me face to face or anything. That's another reason I like doing interviews face to face, because you can actually build with people. But I'm like, when you're doing applications, like they don't
know you.
Exactly.
Well, it's just also, and it's funny that you said it. That bounces back to creating and owning your own thing. So like there's some scripts that I've submitted and people couldn't really understand the premise. They couldn't really understand the structure or what was going on. Whereas a different group of people were like, we love it, we love it. And so for me, I was like, you know what? I just need to create my own stuff because then I can create it in the idea that I have in my head and they'll be able to grasp it. Because I'm sure if Quentin Tarantino had not created his own stuff and he submitted his stuff to Hollywood, they were like, this Joker is crazy. I mean, because his films are different.
Right.
And people will probably think, no, this dude's crazy. But he created his own stuff. And then everybody jumped on the bandwagon and they're like, we love it.
And the thing is, everybody's not gonna like what you're doing anyway.
No, they're not.
So
you have your own audience.
You just have to be yourself. And one of the artists I had on, he dropped a great EP earlier this year. It's called Beautiful Nightmares, and he was saying,
I like that title.
He was telling me, oh, it's phenomenal. I love it's one of my favorite projects from this year. And he was saying, you know, when he sent it to me early and I listened to it, I was like, man, I really like this. He's like, man, thank you, man, because he was like, I really appreciate it because he's like, he said, I know it's different, but I'm just being myself. I think that's what it is. Like, you just have to be yourself at the end of the day. So, and you got to be okay with people saying no because everybody's not going to like all your content. Everybody might not like the Cross the Line podcast, which is fine. But it's still something that I enjoy doing, and I'm just being myself, and I love. And
you have your own audience.
Absolutely, and I love to learn from other entrepreneurs such as yourself. So I really appreciate this kind of stuff that like you're doing today. But what would you say is for you is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur?
The hardest part I think for me is location here because sometimes I feel like I'm alone. I feel like sometimes I want to tap into I wish I could sit at the feet of other people, the greats, and other than having access to their videos or their training courses, I can't go to lunch with them or do an interview with them one-on-one. Like you said, relationships are so important. I just feel like one of my famous saying is get in the room. And the reason why I say get in the room, it's different than being on the phone or an email. There's something about that vibe and that energy of being in the room. So I feel like one of the hardest things for me is sometimes I feel like I'm doing it solo, like I'm lonely, like there's really no blueprint, because when you look at the greats who've done stage plays, Tyler Perry and David E. Talbert, there's really no blueprint. I know, they're pre-social media and all that, but when you go on YouTube and you look, you just want to get inspiration to see how they started. The most you find out about Tyler Perry is that he lived in a car, he was evicted, he did his play over and over, and then boom, voila.
Right.
But we know it's more to that.
Absolutely.
So I sometimes wish I could just sit at the feet of the greats, that like they would just do more to bring in young people. Now, one of the things I do love about David Talbot is he does travel the country and do workshops. And so you have an opportunity to be right there with him, to learn different things and to ask questions. But I'll say to anybody who is pursuing a dream and there's somebody within your community that you can latch on, intern, man. Stop trying to get money. Stop trying, because I'm going to tell you right now, if David E. Talbert or Tyler Perry said to me, Sue, I need you to come work for me for a year for free, I'm there. Absolutely. I am freaking there. Because you can't put a price tag on what I'm going to learn from these gentlemen. Just being in their presence and in their company.
Opportunity is worth more than the paycheck. When I was in college, like I was saying, my senior year, when I finally figured out what I wanted to do, and I had 2 internships. One lady, her husband was over security for the Panthers, so they got me a gig, like just at the stadium, just like helping people find the seats in the stadium. And then another one that I had, I covered the Hornets, I covered the Panthers, so I actually had a chance to, like, the guys that I grew up watching on TV, I was actually in front of them, like, doing interviews and all that kind of stuff. So, and I wasn't getting paid, but I didn't care about that.
But it was it's that exposure, that experience, man.
Yeah, it's like, man, you as a 22-year-old kid, it's like, do you know how that feels? Like, guys that grew up watching on TV.
Yes.
And now you actually just sitting in front of them.
Yes.
And just
it's priceless.
Priceless, like, and so I was like, man, I didn't even worry about the money. I didn't care about it because I enjoyed doing it. So that will definitely be something I tell kids as well. Like, you get a chance to internship, do it, and don't worry about the money. The money will come.
It'll come.
But you just have to look. If you're doing something you love, then you really won't care about that stuff anyway.
Absolutely.
What's some of the best advice that you've received?
Some of the best advice that I have received is don't be afraid. Do it scared. If you believe in yourself, that's the majority. What else? What's some good stuff I always... Oh, I often quote this, and I don't know who's the guy that says it, but anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. And that says to me, and this is my own translation, is that if it's something that you want to do, get out and do it. You may not have all the knowledge or the resources, but get out and do it. And then, as you progress, get better, because there's no substitute for excellence. Another thing I love, I think Calvin Coolidge said, the world consists of a bunch of talented people, but because they lack persistence, the average person will pass them up. And I'm screwing up that quote, but basically he's saying that we have some talented and gifted people in the world, but the average talented and gifted person, right, they won't pursue their gift. They won't put the time into their craft. Hence the reason why we see shows, or we see singers on shows, and we're like, how in the heck did they make it to that show? Or, he's not the best defensive linebacker, or she's not the best actor, but there's something about their skill, their work ethic that got them to where they are. So I always try to tell people, just because you have the most talent, that doesn't mean that you're going to go as far as somebody whose talent is a little bit less than
and
yours.
it's crazy because this, what you were just saying, actually made me think about Nipsey again, because it was a clip that was on him online. And he was saying, you know what, I was never the smartest person. He's like, I just didn't quit.
That's it.
I just kept on going. And then, the name of his clothing store was the Marathon.
Right.
So it's just
It's
like
the marathon.
Yeah. So it's like you just can't quit. You have to keep on going. And like when I started this, I actually remember I graduated, and me and my friends, we were supposed to do this whole podcast together. It was going to be a sports podcast, but work schedules got changed and everything, so I kind of had to do it by myself. And I remember doing the first, because I looked back at it the other day, and I actually recorded like 2 or 3 of these by myself.
Oh wow!
Just talking sports, and I sounded terrible. I was like, man, this is horrible. I did it by myself. And this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of like freestyling and just talking to myself. And so I went back and looked at it the other day, and on my iTunes, I have like 45 podcasts on there now. And some of them were just me by myself, but I was like, man, I just look at the growth, like where I came from. Like, and I didn't have all this stuff at the beginning. The cameras, it was just something I had at home. This was the sign back here. I just had this maybe like a month or 2 ago. So I just kind of like working on my craft and just still adding a couple of things here and there along the way. And I'm still not perfect, but I'm still, going through the marathon and
anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first.
Absolutely.
And then, and it's so funny, the marathon made me think about Les Brown, as you were saying that. Les Brown said there's something funny about life. If you keep standing up to life, right, it might beat you down, but if you keep getting up, eventually life is going to let you win. So that just goes right back to don't quit. And that's one of my favorite sayings that I created was don't quit. Follow your dreams to success.
Les Brown, actually, he had another saying I heard on...
it ain't over till I win?
Oh, it was what his teacher told him. Because kids would tease him and say he's dumb because he had a brother. And it was like, he's the dumb brother. And the teacher told him, he said, don't let someone's perception of you become your reality.
That's it.
So it's like, you can't worry about what other people are saying, but you just have to keep going and don't give up.
My thing is create your reality.
Absolutely.
Make them buy into it. That's what brands do. If you really think about it, big brands make you buy into their reality. With Nike, just do it. That's all we think. Just do it. Nike says just do it. We gotta just do it.
And then they'll take an athlete that people idolize. And put them in it.
Right.
And then that's it.
That's it.
We buy into it. Buy into everything.
I want everybody to buy into everything sueham, because it's all about inspiration, living your dreams. So like you, more than just a job, more than a job.
Absolutely.
So
We got to support our own people. And while we talking about businesses, I definitely have to bring this up because I saw that you had posted this, and I love you said black owned doesn't mean cheaper or free.
Oh my God.
Go ahead and talk about it.
Listen, baby. Ain't no mountain. It's just like, well, first of all, I don't know how it is in upstate South Carolina for you guys, but around here, a lot of times people think that it's black owned, it lacks excellence. It's subpar. So therefore, that means we can ask for a discount. Or it could be you're black, I'm black, so come on, let's
help me out.
Help me out, brother.
Yeah.
Help me out, sister.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, no, listen, I'm a business just like anybody else. You are not going to any other entertainment company and asking for a discount.
Absolutely.
If anything, and this is, listen, I don't have a racist bone in my body, but let's just be real. If anything, black entrepreneurs have it really, really hard to go in and get loans from the bank. You can get a student loan with no problem.
True, I know.
Yes.
Trust me, I know.
You can get a credit card while you're in college with no problem.
Yep.
But you go and you try to get a loan to start your business, and it is a problem. And so I tell people, and even with my friends who are black business owners, they're like, so you can get it free. I said, nope. I want to sow into you, because I believe that when I sow into you, I'm actually sowing into myself. I'm helping myself, because I want your business to thrive, because I need it here. I need other little kids in 3rd and 4th grade seeing you here. But no, it doesn't mean that you get a discount, man. If anything, tip.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Tip, because it's extremely hard being a black business owner, because the odds are stacked against us.
It is.
And so when you come in and you see a nice clean establishment, or you see a nice clean show that is produced well, the sound is excellent, the actors are on point, the lighting is on point, the storyline meshes well, why should you come to me if I'm only charging $20, which is really, by the way, it's highway robbery. I should be charging more. If I'm only charging $20 and asking me for discount tickets. It costs thousands of dollars to produce the type of quality shows that we do. And so I hate it. And I think also when you set your price, you set the tone. Because everybody can't get a Louis Vuitton bag. Everybody can't get a Rolex. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you start discounting your prices, it's almost like saying, this is the flea market now. Everybody's allowed in. You see? And I just think people should respect people's prices and their businesses.
But it doesn't, for some reason, I don't know why, like you said, with our communities, a lot of times we don't do that. Even for me, I actually, when I first got my first couple of t-shirts made with my logo on it, I went to a guy that I interviewed, Devin, I forgot David's last name, that fast, Devin Hawkins. And he pretty much, he had to start his own clothing company, and when he lets people like, has a hard time getting a job, they'll come work for them, and he'll teach them like screen printing and different things like that. But he actually made my t-shirts. I went through him, and then also he made my business cards as well. Now I could have went through somebody else to kind of get that stuff, but I actually went back through him just to support him and like show him I appreciate him, and I want him to keep his business up. So sometimes, even if you have to pay a little bit more, if it's supporting our own people, I feel like we still need to do.
We need to do that. I know I can. A lot of times, I know I can get stuff a little cheaper, but again, I want this business to stay in the community.
Absolutely.
Or stay online, so therefore I'm shopping with you.
And it's like, I love what Master P is doing with them. I haven't seen
I got the hookup too?
I got the hookup too. It's black owned. Even though I haven't heard the best reviews about it, still somebody,
he owns
one of my own people, he owns it, and he's creating content and giving our own people other opportunities to shine and pay them. So it's like, why not support something?
Why not?
When our people are doing it.
Yeah, that's a mindset we got to work on really, really hard. Really hard.
Something else you say, let your faith be bigger than your fear. How has faith been along your journey?
My faith has definitely increased. I think that anytime anybody is doing something, your faith will increase. The bigger the goal and you accomplish it, the bigger your faith. That's as far as I'm concerned, that's how it works. Like for me, stepping out and doing a show, even though I was brought into Wilmington, it was just the fact that I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm no longer in Kingstree, South Carolina. I felt like Dorothy. I'm no longer in Kansas. And to be able to step out and still be able to take our great actors, our set designer, our directors, our sound guys, and still be able to produce a great show, that gave me the faith to say, okay, I want to go to Atlanta, So faith plays a big part in everything I do, and my faith grows with everything that I do.
What do you think keeps people from chasing their dream?
Fear. fear, and just excuses, laziness. Let's just put it out there, procrastination. And I think all that ties back to fear, because I think a lot of times we're lazy because we're afraid to get up and do something. We're afraid that, oh man, it's not even gonna be worth it. I'm gonna fall flat on my face. People gonna laugh at me. But I think fear is the root of everything that stops you from living your dreams.
And a lot of times you hear people say, I don't have enough time because I gotta go do this and that. But for me, I'm like,
You got time.
at the end of the day, if you're really tired of something and tired of your circumstances, like you're just gonna have to you'll do whatever you have to change those situations. And that's kind of how I was. Even though I worked so much, I was just like, man, I can't keep doing this.
But it's just like this. When you think about it, when you say I don't have time, I think we should ask ourselves, what am I really afraid of? Because that's an excuse. I don't have time. So just ask yourself, what am I really afraid of that's causing me to make up the excuse of saying I don't have time? Because we have time. Get up an hour early before work. Stay up an hour later at night.
Yeah.
You can get it done.
It's like for me, I just took it like, I really don't have nothing to lose at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything fails, and Ben Hall told me this as well, Big Ben's Dessert, somebody great that you need to meet.
Okay.
He was just like, you know what, man? He's like, because he played a little professional football, and then he came back home and worked a job, and he quit his job on a random Monday because he started baking desserts. And he's like, you know what?
Wow.
He's like, if my business doesn't work out at the end of the day, he's like, I can always go back and
get a job.
He said, I can always go back and get a job.
There's a plan B.
And the thing is, we shot the interview maybe last March or April, and then last year in September, somewhere around there, he opened up his storefront. He finally got his storefront.
Wow.
So it's like, man, and from there he's still doing speaking engagements and everything, but I still remember that to this day. It was two things. It was that one. It was like, I can always go get a job if it doesn't work out. And then he always told us, you know what, you can't get out of life alive. He's like, people love to play it safe, like it's a reward, like congratulations, you made it out of life alive. But he said it doesn't work that way.
I just feel like you wasted your life.
Exactly. You just wasting time. And I didn't want to be one of those people just looking back like, man, I wish I would have at least took a chance just to see what would have happened if I would have tried to do what I wanted to do instead of just sitting back and waiting. Because if you just sit back and wait, it's not going to happen.
I think that success is like a magnet, and the only way that you're attracted is if you go towards it. And for me, I'm not gonna have any regrets. I'm gonna do everything I wanted to do. I proclaim big things, and I know people are probably like, she is crazy. She is in King Street, South Carolina, and I'm happy to say that 90% of those things have come to pass. And so when you talk about faith, because they've come to pass, now I'm thinking, okay, I need to think bigger because. It was scary going through the process, but then looking back, I was like, that wasn't bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't bad at all. So I just feel really in life, we will never ever live up to our full potential. But man, it's so fun trying to.
Yeah.
It's just seeing what else you can do. Like, I didn't know I had that in me.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Oh man, you really have to talk to this guy and listen to him. I love Ben, man. He's like, if I tell you to pick up this water bottle, you just do it.
Yeah.
With no problem.
Yeah.
He's like, if I tell you to pick up this house, then it's like, oh man, I gotta really work for it. But he was like, those things like that, just having that faith and like just knowing that you can do it. It's like
getting in your car, you just think it's gonna start.
Absolutely. Automatically.
You don't question it. I know this. I just bought this car. I know it's gonna run well.
Absolutely. Yep. But what would you tell people who want to start their journey as an entrepreneur? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to be realistic and understand, because I think that people are glorifying entrepreneurship right now. People make it seem like, oh, it's the best thing in the world. I'm an entrepreneur. But again, people don't show the other side to like putting in a lot of work because that's where your income is coming from. So you're putting a lot of work, So I would say be realistic and understand that it's going to take work. But if that's what you love to do, then it's not really work. Not to me. I just feel like I'm getting better because I'm spending time in my craft, and I'm going through these experiences and I'm meeting these people along the journey. So understand that, and one of my favorite sayings is put your time in, payday is coming after a while. It's an old gospel song, and I live by that because what that tells me is that nothing is overnight. Many times people think things are overnight, but it's really been like 10, 15, 20 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seems like all of a sudden mainstream media picks you up, and people are like, where did you come from? I've been grinding. So understand, stay the course. Anything worth having is worth putting in the work and staying the course. And definitely write your goals down. Visualize. I write my goals down and I sleep on them at night so my subconscious mind can work on them. I visualize where I want to be, who I want to be, what I want to have, and connect with people. Social media is great. I love social media. I live by social media, okay? But nothing beats people.
Absolutely. That's why, like I was saying, I love to sit down and do these interviews.
Mm-hmm.
You can easily do it over the phone or Skype or anything. But when you sit down and talk to these people, I like to build relationships with them.
Yeah.
Stay in touch with them. I want to be okay. Hey, I interview such and such. That's it. I don't ever have to talk to them again.
Right.
I like to actually see these people and talk to them and build with them because I want to see them continue their success.
Right.
So that's why I love doing it this way because I feel like it's much better.
It is much better.
A few more questions and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
If you had to lay it out, what would you say is like the blueprint for success?
Oh God, the blueprint for success. If I had to lay it out, that's a good question. A really good question. Number one is belief. Belief in yourself. When you believe in yourself, you and God, that's a majority. I believe the God in you is great and you can make anything happen. Number two is training your mind for winning. Training your mind to be able to go through the hardship that you're going to endure. There are going to be dark days. It's just like the seed that's in the soil. It's planted in darkness, but yet it's germinating and taking root. So you got to you have to understand that that's what's going to happen with you. You're going to have dark days, but it's not trying to kill you. It's just trying to help you to grow and take root, get your bearings, so that when you spring through the soil, you'll be strong. Number three is collaborate with great people. Number four is expand your Rolodex, get to know more people, build relationships. Number five, and I'm real big on this, invest in yourself, invest in your brand. Like today, you're wearing, your business on your shirt. I'm wearing my website with one of my phrases built for this on my shirt. And I stopped buying a whole lot of name brand, which I never bought name brand anyways, but I stopped buying other people's stuff and started buying t-shirts with my stuff on it. Because I'm like, if I got to wear clothes, I want you to see what I represent. So invest in yourself, and that's in your brand by your knowledge, by going to seminars and courses, by getting around the right people, by wearing your brand on your chest. I'm real big in that. And be thankful. Celebrate the small victories. And just understand, like Nipsey said, it's a marathon.
It's a marathon,
Yeah.
absolutely. Who do you look for to is like maybe like inspiration or somebody who kind of like, I don't want to say set the bar, but like as far as like playwriting and acting and everything, who would you say like, would it be like a Tyler Perry or who?
Oh yeah, definitely David E. Talbert and Tyler Perry. I love Shonda Rhimes, of course she's on TV. I love Ava DuVernay. Yeah, I love her.
She wrote, she was the one who made When They See Us.
Yes.
I watched just a little bit.
I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it yet.
I couldn't really watch it.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Everybody, because I've seen everybody's reviews, like it's great, but it's just tearing me up. And I was like, I'm not ready to go there right now.
Yeah. Oh, and they gave the lady, the Fairstein lady, I think that's her name. The slander she got on social media, I think she ended up deleting her social media.
I think they fired her from a board or something like that. So, but yeah, I just wasn't in a place to go there yet. So I haven't seen it either. But I think it's up for the most amount of Emmys that's ever been given for nomination. So that's amazing. Whoopi Goldberg, because when I was growing up, The Color Purple was my favorite movie, and when I seen Whoopi, that told me that, oh my God, I can do this. Whoopi's doing this. Being an actor. Of course, Oprah Winfrey. I love Les Brown. I love Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk.
I love Gary V too.
Yeah, I love Gary V. I love Devon Franklin. I love how with Devon Franklin, how he uses his faith, and he's in Hollywood, and he's like, yo, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing me, and it just shows me that there's room for everybody. Like we talked about that before. Everyone has their own audience, and as long as you are authentically you 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 don't have to worry about somebody saying, "Oh, you're counterfeit." You're gonna make it. You're gonna be in your own space and make it. So my parents, even though my father was deceased, I learned a lot about work ethic from him. I learned a lot about being excellent, and education is key. My mom, just about having faith, comedy from my mom, and just believing in yourself. I love Lisa Nichols. I love Steve Harvey. I love Will Smith. Will Smith is just amazing to me. And so those are
a lot
some
of great people.
Yeah, those are just some of the people that I look towards. And of course, Reverend Ike. And even though he has a Reverend in front of his name, Reverend Ike talks like how we're talking, and he tells you how to take like real life situations and break it down and exceed, and I'm like, dang. And I like E.T. the hip hop preacher too.
I like E.T.
So.
Oh, have you seen Inky Johnson?
I've seen a couple of his things, not a whole lot.
I like
Okay.
I like Inky Johnson as well.
Okay.
But this guy, that's another entrepreneur, Patrick Bet David.
I haven't heard of him.
My friend Taylor, I interviewed her earlier this year. He's somebody definitely check him out as well.
Okay.
But my last two questions: is there anything differently you would do along your journey?
No. And I say that fast, and I say that with the utmost confidence, because I think that everything has developed the way it's supposed to develop. I used to say, man, I would have got started with my dreams earlier, but then I wouldn't have learned all those other little lessons I needed to learn. So no, there's nothing I would change. I'm just thankful that I finally woke up and got the drift before I'm like 60, 70, 80 years old.
My final question I like to ask everybody is what is your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is to inspire billions across the world, and I want to do that in by storytelling. I want my stories to be on TV, film, stage, radio. I want to come into people's households. I want to be on their cell phones. I want to be in their minds. I want to be in their dreams. And I want it to be, oh my God, that sueham story, that was amazing. Or, oh my God, she truly inspired me to live my dreams. Or just something that the sueham brand did. But that's where I want to be. And that to me is huge. When you're impacting billions, and we got close to 8 billion people, so I'll settle for 1 billion.
Right.
I want to inspire and impact 1 billion people on this earth before I leave.
Well, Miss Sueham, I want to thank you because you inspired me. Before we got here, also I saw the video with the children talk the anti-bullying campaign.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that real quick? Because I want to give you a chance to speak on that as well.
Well, we actually did a full-blown play entitled Beautiful Minds that I wrote, and it was around bullying, and we were actually able to sell that out, and to the audiences that came, we did it here in King Street and in Sumter, South Carolina, and they're just mesmerized and blown away. But more so than the accolades of the actual show itself, we had people giving testimonies of how they were able to heal, how parents were like, my child came out and admitted to me that they're being bullied, and I'm like, oh my God, and they were like, but they weren't able to do it until after seeing your show. We had adults say, that brought back a lot of memories because I was bullied as a child and I'm still being bullied as an adult, and it actually helped me to begin the healing process. And I'm like, oh my God. So that's another reason why I want to inspire billions, because the art of storytelling, arts itself is healing. But then I also got hired to do a play with the school here in King Street, and I actually used 10 and 11-year-olds. And that was my first time ever working with an age group that small. And we did a skit, and it was about 21 minutes, and it was about bullying. And it was just amazing. These kids performed at a top-notch level. The audience really received the message. But my whole thing is I'm truly about let's stop bullying. Let's accept people for who they are. It's all about love. So I just want to spread that. I want to encourage as many people as I can to live, love, learn, and laugh, to not quit, to follow their dreams to success, because I feel when you do that, you will decrease depression, decrease suicide, decrease unhappiness, because when you live in your passion, live in your dreams, and secure in who you are, you don't have to pick on other people, and you can just be happy, man. But not Bob Marley. What is it? The man? Don't worry, be happy. I forget. What's his name? Jeez, I can't even think of it. Okay.
Before we got here, can you please tell everybody where to find you on your social media and everything? And if you have any advice, do go ahead and get that out as well.
Okay, well, I think the advice I want to give is what I always give is like, listen, you're entitled to rock this world out. Those dreams and desires that you have in you, they were pre-built before you came here. So the only thing you got to do is execute. You don't even got to think of what you're supposed to do or wonder who you're supposed to be. It's already inside of you. Only thing you need to do is just freaking execute. So I want you to live, love, learn, and laugh. Don't quit. Follow your dreams to success. And I would love for you to help make my dream come true of impacting and inspiring 1 billion people by joining me on my social media sites, and that's on Facebook at sueham, Instagram sueham baby, Twitter sueham baby, and of course my website is sueham.com.
All right, well, thank you, Miss Hammond. Well, I appreciate you.
Yes.
Oh, and I had a comment on Instagram before we came in. Johnny Sizemore.
Oh yeah,
He
he's
was like-
upstate.
Yeah, Johnny actually shot a couple of my interviews for me. A really good guy, man. I really appreciate Johnny. Quick shout out to Johnny. He was like, Sueham is the bomb.
Oh man, he is too. He does a lot of plays upstate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Showtime Production.
Yes.
He does a really good job as well. So I just wanted to mention that before we get out of here because he's tuning in.
Johnny.
So, shout out to Johnny as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time, keep chasing your dreams. This is Cross the Line Podcast. Thank you.
What's up, y'all? I'm Sueham with sueham.com, and I'm here with Cross the Line Podcast, the only podcast that I listen to.